welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Mia, and I'm an Evolve student. I started the Evolve program in December 2021, and I completed the Foundation program, Blocks 1 through 4, in November 2022. I started the Advanced program, Blocks 5 through 8, in December 2022, and I completed Block 5 earlier this month. So today, my Evolve update will be about my experience with Block 5 using the Vacant Shadows technique. After I finished Block 4, I decided to take a break before I started the Advanced program. It was around the holidays, so I used that time to focus on my drawing skills. When the holidays were over, that's when I started getting into Block 5 using Vacant Shadows technique. So what is this technique? Well, with Vacant Shadows, you're only painting parts of an object that are in the light. Vacant Shadows technique is the precursor for speed painting, which is Block 6. So for Vacant Shadows, you're studying your image, using medium, applying paint a certain way, and most importantly, you're thinking about where you're going to apply the paint before it even touches the canvas. These are important skills to understand while in Block 5 because, as I mentioned before, they carry over into Block 6. To pull off Vacant Shadows, you need a dark tone canvas. I was provided 20 sheets of brown canvas for each assignment. The color was called Armadillo Brown, and it was like a warm mid-tone color. If you go to my Instagram page and look at my work, it may look like the canvas is darker than a mid-tone brown, but that's because I changed the color settings to make the image pop more. The first half of Block 5, I painted exclusively with white paint in Alkyd medium. Alkyd is a medium that you mix into oil paint and it will let the paint dry faster. Alkyd also thins oil paint, which helps create different values for the monochromatic paintings I was creating. Other than that, this first half of Block 5 wasn't too bad at all. The paintings didn't take long to do. Depending on what I was painting, it would take me 1 to 2 hours to complete something. And that gave me a great sense of accomplishment because I was creating these beautiful paintings and it didn't take me long at all. Using simple objects for our still life paintings was encouraged, and Kevin gave really good advice on making our setups more complex as we advanced. That was something I really needed to hear because I wanted to just focus on learning the technique and not overwhelm myself by doing something that would just end up frustrating me. My first still life was a roll of toilet paper, and I really like how that turned out. After completing 8 monochrome paintings, it was time to move on to color. That part was a bit tricky for me at first. While I was painting with just white paint, the subject matter looked ghostly, if that makes sense. So when I did my first Vacant Shadows in color of the teddy bear, it looked faded and washed out. I guess that's good if that's the look you're going for, but looking back, I learned I could have made the colors more saturated and there would have been more contrast. As I continued working on my assignments, the photographs I worked from started to become more complex and took a little more time. Depending on what I was working on, I would sometimes work for an hour or two and then resume the next day. And like I mentioned before, I was using the Alkyd so the paint dried quickly and I was able to pick up where I left off with no issues. Here's one thing you need to know about using Alkyd. Once that Alkyd dries, that's it. You can't wipe it off. So you have to make sure you put your lights where they're supposed to go, which is why it's important to plan what you're going to do before you start painting. I actually ruined a couple of my canvases because I wasn't taking my time. For this sculpture painting, I used a canvas sheet I had started a different painting on, got frustrated with, and didn't finish. I had to mix up a color that matched with the canvas, and I used that as a quote-unquote eraser. You can't tell in the photo, but you would have to look really hard if you saw this painting in person. For my very last assignment of Block 5, I had no more brown canvas sheets. I looked all over the internet for mid-tone, pre-tone canvas in brown. However, I had no luck. Nearly all the pre-tone canvases I saw online were too light, so Vacant Shadows wouldn't have worked. I did have black canvas sheets, so I used that for my final assignment. From doing that, I learned a couple things. One, using black canvas for vacant shadows creates a very bold contrast, whereas with the brown canvas, the shadow areas appeared more natural and easy on the eyes. Two, I have to create my own mid-tone colored canvases if I want to use the vacant shadows technique. Basically, I'll have to paint my own canvas, probably with acrylic paint, just to get the color I want the shadows to be. I really would love to see what a vacant shadows painting would look like on a mid-tone blue canvas. Blue is one of my favorite colors, so this is something I'll have to experiment with in the near future. Overall, I really enjoyed learning the vacant shadows technique. It was really fun. I think it's amazing how beautiful and detailed paintings can be by just using one color. I also liked how you can easily create a mood or atmosphere based on the color of the canvas. I think this technique is good to use on its own. You can experiment with it and use different colored paint or different colored canvases. Or you can even combine this technique with other techniques. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!